Have you ever been in a situation, a trial or a tribulation, and you knew that if God didn't step in, if God didn't intervene, you weren't going to make it? You had already tried to figure it out on your own. You had already called your friends, your parents, those people close to you to see what they could do to help you. But you knew that this was something that only God could help you with. Only God could get you out of. Only God could fix. I found myself thanking God this week as I stood at the bedside of my nephew. And I was thanking him because this same time last year, I stood there crying out to the Lord, asking him to heal my nephew. Don't let this be the end of his story. And now here I am again in the same hospital, the same room, the same bed. But this time things were just a little bit different. And as I stood there, this hot bread came to me. And God showed me how sometimes in our lives when we're going through things, that He deals with us, He heals us, He delivers us, He brings us out in stages. It's not because He can't do it all at one time. Don't get me wrong, because nothing is impossible for our God. But sometimes He takes us through stages for our own benefit. Because you got to know God knows us better than anybody else, even better than ourselves. Over in the book of Mark, around the 8th chapter, verse 22, it says, "Then He came to Bethesda, and they brought a blind man to Him and begged Him to touch him." See, that was me last year. I was begging the Lord, crying out to Him, asking Him to touch my nephew, because see, I already knew that there was only so much that the doctors could do, that Jesus had to intervene, because if He didn't, he wasn't going to make it. And verse 23 goes on to say, "So He took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when He had spit on his eyes and put His hands on him, He asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, 'I see men like trees walking.' And then He put His hands on his eyes again and made him look up. And he was restored and saw everyone clearly." Now again, I need you to understand something. It was not a coincidence, and it definitely wasn't a mistake that when Jesus asked the man the first time, "What do you see?" that all he saw was men walking around looking like trees. See, this was a unique healing because it was done in stages. And there are things in your life that you've cried out to the Lord for, and you maybe saw God's hand in it, but then it seems as if He just stopped working. Understand something. He didn't quit on you. He didn't forget about you, and He's not done with you. Sometimes, just like this man, He took him outside of the town. Sometimes Jesus has to get you away from some people, from some things, before He does what He does in your life, because you got to understand something. Where God may be trying to take you, what God may be trying to do in your life, it's not for everybody. Everybody can't go along for the journey. Everybody can't be a part of it. They can't see what God is about to do in you, where God is about to take you. God don't make mistakes. It wasn't a mistake that He didn't see clearly the first time. There's a purpose and a plan for everything that happens in your life. Yes, you've been crying out to the Lord. Yes, it doesn't seem like God is moving in your situation as fast as you would like for him to move, because we know we all living in this microwave generation where we want things right now and we want it to happen as soon as we cry out unto the Lord. But sometimes God needs to teach you something. Sometimes God needs to get you away from some things, some people. And if it takes doing things in stages to get you there, then I encourage you to accept what God is doing in your life. I encourage you to continue to trust in God, because see, I watched my nephew last year. When they didn't think and they told my sister that he was going to be on this machine for 2 weeks, I said, it's not going to be that long. He's not going to need to be on there for 2 weeks. I watched God move in stages. I see where he is today and where he was last year. And God is not finished. I want to encourage you today and just remind you that just because your blessings are being delayed, just because God is doing things in stages, it does not mean that he's not going to deliver you. It does not mean that he's not going to heal you. We got to learn how to trust the process and trust God and know that God knows what's best for us and he has everything under control. Just wait on him. Trust in him. Believe that he's working it all out for your good, even if he's doing it in stages. God bless you.